What's up? Welcome back to another Top Shelf podcast with your host Jimmy and Marcus. What's going on today, Marcus?
Dude, nothing much, man. I got yesterday. I went to Bruins development camp.
Yeah.
It was an absolute blast. You know what I'm
Yeah?
saying?
They did well though, yeah? I saw some of your clips. Fabian
Oh yeah,
Lysell looked good.
yeah. No, he was trying hard, but every single time I would cheer for him or root for him, I'd be like, "Let's go, Fabian!" Everyone would look up at me like, "Why is this kid making noise?" It was like a church. Like it was so quiet in there.
Were there
Like,
scouts and stuff? Is that why?
yeah, no, there was some scouts, but it was like dead silent. Like nobody was making noise. I'm like, people, we're watching hockey here. What are we doing?
Yeah,
So I'm
what
like,
are you talking
so I'm
about?
like hyping everything, and people are like inching away from me slowly. I'm like, all right, more room for me. Bet
You're like,
I had
make
like a
room, I got
whole
the front row.
I had a whole like bar area to myself, so it was
Oh,
pretty
let's
cool.
go. Nice, nice. So today we are actually going to come back with Marcus's development camp. We are going to obviously talk about a little bit of Bruins today, but we're going to talk about every team as we do. Just going to give you guys some opening thoughts, and then we're going to get into a little bit of a free agency tier list. Now, this tier list is just going to go off what free agency has happened so far. It's July 7th, so anything that happens after this, pound sand if you're going to come into our DMs or our comments and talk about it because we don't care. So, first thing I want to talk about before we get into the tier list, New York Ranger fans. What is going on with these Rangers fans? Marcus and I talked last week about the development of Rangers fans. And the comments that you guys made on a couple of the videos we posted on the Rangers, you guys are delusional. I swear, man, the people who think that we were talking bad about the Rangers when we said to give them more direction, and we picked them as like one of our favorites to win the cup. Dude, I don't know if you caught a glimpse of that. I know I'm just bringing this up right up on you, but man, Rangers fans, you might be up there as the biggest chirpers. You
Would you
might
want
be.
me to read through some of the stuff?
If you have it on hand, feel free because I
Um,
just thought it was outstanding.
let's go through a day ago. We posted a video about the Rangers. We have no idea which direction they're going in.
Oh,
So let's go through some of the comments.
now, to
Laugh
be
is
fair, there
done.
were some supportive ones too. So shout out to the people who didn't just roast us. And if you wanted to educate us, we're big fans of that too.
Yeah.
But go ahead and read the hate ones, man. They were crazy.
Oh wait, you're talking on TikTok?
Yeah, on TikTok, if you got them, I don't know if.
Hold up. Oh man, it's making me
So
silent.
while
Do you
he's
have
doing
them
that,
on
I'll just
handy?
kind of. I'll refresh while he's doing that. They absolutely just tore into the fact that I suggested that the Lafreniere should be compared to Jack Hughes. For those of you who think that Jack Hughes and Lafreniere shouldn't be compared, you're delusional. They're both first round, first overall picks. What are we living in fantasy land? What? Dude, the Rangers fans have such little expectations for their players.
I got them.
Good.
I got it up on the iPad too, right? Um, so here we go. Let's look through some of these. Let's look through some of these comments, right? So this is what's your stance on this again? You said that
The
you
Rangers
have no
should
idea what
either
direction
move
they're
on
going
from
in.
their talent or the
Yeah,
Rangers should move them to the first line.
right. As a Rangers fan, they rushed the rebuild process. Facts. Should have sucked up for a couple more years and let the kids play rather than signing Panarin and Truba. I agree with that entirely. Laviolette said he's changing the way Laf and Kaka are used next season. You also have top players on the Rangers. You can't slide Kreider, Panarin, Kane, Tarasenko, the third line. They're star players. This is the year. I feel like they say that every year.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's I think that's enough to get like a peek into what the Rangers fan base thinks. Guys, we want the Rangers to succeed. For me to see an original six team that hasn't won in like 60 years pull off a cup would be great. But when you guys go in there with these unrealistic expectations of saying we deserve to have two full top lines of all stars, but we're going to let our first overall pick. Nah, he's okay staying on the third line. We don't mind because he's not Jack Hughes. Get out of here, okay? Just get out of here.
So somebody commented, Connor Diz, not everyone can be the Devils. There's a completely different structure of roster between the New Jersey Devils and the New
And,
York
and I'll tell
Rangers.
you what the Devils did right. They did the right thing and let their young players play, which is why Jack Hughes was, I think, almost an 100-point player this year, and Lafreniere probably didn't even crack 50. So
Someone
at,
said, someone said that Jack Hughes is 100,000 times better. When I feel like
it's not true.
Alexis Lafreniere had more hype around him heading
But
into
like, I
20.
don't think he's that much better. Do you? Like, I think if Lafreniere was being utilized the right way, I think he
Yeah,
could close the gap. Do I think that Jack Hughes is better? Of course, but like you saying that a first overall pick shouldn't be compared to another first overall pick just blows my mind. It really does.
bro, Laf and Kako just suck. That's the difference between them and Hughes, bro.
Oh, nice, good, good
If you
excuses, fellas.
use two bros in the same sentence, bro, you're probably
No,
you don't have enough words.
yeah, man, your vocabulary is very tiny. But we're done. We're not gonna roast Rangers fans anymore. I think that's good. Get on them. But yeah, so we're actually gonna go into a tier list today, guys. We're gonna talk about some of the teams. Now, I can't remember every single sign that's happened. So if I can't remember a big enough sign that you made in free agency, you probably didn't do enough for us to give you a pretty good grade, so we'll probably stick you somewhere in the middle. So we're just going to go through this in alphabetical order, man. Don't feel rushed on this. If you feel like one team has a lot to talk about, go ahead and talk about as much as you want. And we're going to start with the Anaheim Ducks. Marcus, where are you ranking the Anaheim Ducks in your
So
tiers 1 through 5?
so name the tiers again for the listeners at home.
Got you. So we got 5 tiers today, guys. We have the elite people, which actually made some huge signings. These are the people who really adjusted their roster, and Marcus and I think they actually improved on it. Then we have the better tier, and that tier is actually going to be just teams who we think got better from the year that they had last year. It's pretty self-explanatory. Same is just the same. You didn't make any moves that really changed your position in the league. And then we have you got worse, which means you traded off a couple of your asset pieces. You're not terribly worse. And then we have the garbage ones who made the worst deals in this whole free agency since the start to July 7th. Okay. So that's our kind of criteria here. All right, Marcus. Anaheim Ducks. Where are you placing the
Anaheim,
Ducks?
I'm going with just better. They got better.
Better? And why is
They didn't
that?
do it's not elite. Like the rosters, they still gotta work on it, but you got Killorn, you know what I'm saying? And you also brought in
Judas?
yeah, Gudas too. And
Yeah, now,
you're keeping around I also want to say you're keeping remember the whole fiasco with John Gibson? Where there was that fake like release like I'm not playing for the Ducks again. I was like, "Oh no." But it's okay. They're fine.
yeah.
They got better. They didn't get like elite better. They didn't have an elite free agency so far. It's just been better.
So you want to know why I actually don't want to put the Ducks in better? And this is just my little thing here. They haven't signed Zegras or Terry
Yet.
yet. We don't know what
Well,
those deals are going to be. So I guess we can't rank them off those deals just yet. But I'm pretty mad that they haven't signed those two guys. And some people are saying that that Gudas contract is not good for the Ducks. I guess he's not worth that money. And I think we might have recency bias with him for his performance in the playoffs. But I got to be honest, man, I didn't know who Gudas was until the playoffs this year. Did you?
I just knew he was like a tool. Like
I
I
knew he
always
was a
thought of
tool.
Racco Gudas as like an annoying sort of guy who just always tries to get in your team's head. You know what I
A
mean? One of
rat.
those defensemen, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, put it this way: Anaheim still has $30 million. They're gonna pay Zegras and Terry. They're not gonna let him walk. That would be a really bad decision to make.
Yeah, I think I was playing a little devil's advocate there just to say it, but you're right, they haven't made those moves yet, so I guess we can't really grade them on that yet, right?
And the thing is, nobody else has really, like tried to offer Terry and Zegras anything, right? So
Sure.
I'd say they're still under like the Ducks' rights,
Yeah.
to put it that way. So for me, I'd put the Ducks as better. You
Okay.
know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I'm cool with putting the Ducks there. I guess that's a good point. They haven't signed those guys yet, so we can't really chirp them for that.
Yeah, and they got the money too. They got the
Yeah.
money to give Racco Gudas that much. Sure, maybe it's a
Yeah.
recency bias thing, but yeah, they got the money for it.
Yeah, and this grade to me will change based on what the Ducks do with John Gibson because I really do think they need to move on from Gibson, not just for Gibson's sake, but for their organization's sake. That relationship is just soured. Next team, the Arizona Coyotes.
All right, let's
Now,
move
I
on.
can go ahead and rank this one because they did absolutely nothing.
Same,
They did nothing, and
same.
like
It's
I
it's
would love
not.
to know what these guys did in their free agency that should make them like any. I,
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 do they ever make headlines? No.
for anything good, you mean?
No, it's always a negative. Like they're always like a joke. It's not. It's just the same. I don't really see a difference. I can't really say they got better, and you can't really say they get worse because they are literally at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I agree completely. I don't know what else you could say about the Arizona Coyotes. I think they're pretty much the same team. They've done nothing. They usually don't do much, and yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to add to that. To you, Coyotes fans, we love you, but like, do something.
See ya. That
Yeah,
one's
they're rebuilding. Now, this is going to be a bit pretty long topic, I think, between the two of us. Where are you ranking the Boston Bruins? Because I know where I want to put them. So
worse.
I want to put them in garbage.
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 I'd say worse.
I'll
But
explain why. Are you ready?
tell me, tell me
Are
why
you ready
garbage.
for this?
All
How
right.
are you going to go out and sign 4 veterans and then lose Tyler Bertuzzi, Dmitry Orlov, and pick up no top line center? Why is the same roster being brought back? Why is Grizzly coming back? Why is Carlo coming back? Why isn't Bertuzzi coming back? I want me some Tyler Bertuzzi on this Bruins team, and the fact that you let him go to the Maple Leafs, for a 1 year, $5.5 million, you couldn't sign Bertuzzi to a $5.5 million contract? Are
Did
you
you read the
serious?
reports?
I did. It's
You know how
joke.
he wanted more money, right?
I'm fine with it. Pay the
And
man.
but the thing is, when he tested the market, nobody was willing to pay that.
Yep.
But when he came back to us, by the time he came back to us and was like, "Hey, I want to sign whatever you were looking for in the contract," they said Sweeney said, "No, we don't have the money for you anymore in our plans." You know what I'm saying? I'd say they got worse. You know, I can't say they went completely off. You know, you still have a decently built roster. It's not perfect, but I'd just say worse. It's not like Garbo. You know, it's not
I
completely
I
garbage.
think that signings were garbage though.
Oh, you're saying the signings were garbage.
Yeah,
Okay.
so not only did they not sign anybody that they should have signed, because I don't want them to sign Orlov to that contract. So move on from him. That wasn't worth it. Bertuzzi, I'm sour about, but you brought back Milan Lucic, who is like a broken down
The
Zamboni on
goat.
the ice. Now I love me some Lucic, so I'm fine with that. But why is that the priority? Why is that? And dude, when was the last time you heard anything significant about JVR?
Probably, probably in like 2013 or something.
What about Kevin Shattenkirk, Marcus?
Probably when he won the Stanley Cup.
No.
Maybe I don't know.
He wasn't a name you would remember. Get out of here.
I
Oh, all
wouldn't.
right, we can put them in worse if you feel like that. I think the Bruins laid an egg here, a real fat goose egg. That's how I feel.
Oh
But
yeah.
I'm willing to put them in garbage if I can.
It's what they could have done that makes you think like, oh,
Yes.
they're garbage.
Yes. So I'm putting them in
Absolutely.
garbage. I'm,
All
I'm
right,
gonna
go
leave
ahead.
them in garbage. If they look less like garbage compared to the other teams that we put in garbage, then maybe I'll bump them up because it's
Okay.
a little bit more like we can mess around with it.
Right.
Next up, Carolina Hurricanes, and I'll let you do this one. This one is a real big one actually. So
Carolina, I'd say they got better. They
just
got better.
better.
You brought in Dmitry Orlov. Bunting's a bit confusing because we all know what he's been doing recently, but it's a decent depth signing. You've kept
Tarasenko?
around most of the roster, including Frederick Anderson, right? Didn't they bring back? Hold on, I gotta look at.
So I got the signings right here for Carolina. They got Michael Bunting, Dmitry Orlov. They re-signed both their goalies, so Antti Ranta and Frederick Anderson are both coming back to Carolina, and they also signed Vladimir Tarasenko.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah.
What
So
do you mean?
yeah,
What are you talking about?
yeah. You didn't see that?
What?
Yeah. So
I don't see him.
Tarasenko. Are you looking at their roster?
I'm looking at Cap Friendly. I don't see it.
Yeah. No. He signed. I don't know if it's fully official, but he signed.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I'm
word.
willing to
Yeah,
put
no.
them in. They're
That's
elite.
that's elite. Yeah,
Right.
what?
All right.
That's
So
give,
probably a
give,
little
go.
bit of confusion.
Put
Yeah,
him up
bump
to the
him up.
top. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
What?
I think there's been some reports that there's some issues with it for some reason. I'll have to look more into it, but right now if Carolina actually pulled that off, which I think they did, I'll just have to confirm it. If you can confirm it while we're doing this, feel free. But Carolina picked up Vladimir Tarasenko, so now you're talking about a big free agency, right?
That would be that. We're going off of that. I'm calling it elite.
Yeah, let's just talk about the Carolina blue line for a minute with that Orlov pickup, though. Regardless of if they picked up Tarasenko, that's big for them, man. They have a nice blue line already, and their goalies is the only thing I'm like, really? You couldn't have improved there? Like, you
What, with
want
the
to bring
goaltending?
back? Yeah, a lot
Well,
of
you
injuries,
have.
man.
Well, yes, and Anderson's constantly injured. Ranta's like, Ranta's solid. You got Kachekov just waiting.
Yeah,
Kachekov is on a sick deal. And
yeah.
he's playing in the AHL. You know what I'm
I would
saying?
have moved off of Ranta, I think.
You thought they should have?
Yeah, I would move off of Ranta and go ahead and try to get like a younger guy, like a guy in a system like Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
Like a
I think.
young guy that they can develop with the other guy and then have a new tandem. Because I like Freddie Anderson, man, but he's constantly injured when it matters the most. It's brutal for the guy, but yeah, I'm willing to put them in elite if you are, because I actually really like their signings.
I'll put him in elite. The roster looks amazing. It
Yeah,
always does.
I don't know how Carolina doesn't get more competitive in the playoffs than they do. Their roster is so good. It's so good, man. If you don't watch a lot of Canes games, I know we watch a lot of Bruins games, but when they play the Bruins, man, that's an entertaining
Oh
team.
my God. Do you want to know what it is? It's Brenda Moore. He's such a good coach. He
Rob
disciplines
the
the team.
bot.
Yeah, he
Rob.
disciplines the team. I watched the neutral zone defense. It's impenetrable. The way he coaches them, it's amazing. They are pedal to the metal. That hockey team is. I don't know how they lose some big games in the playoffs. I don't know how.
It
Forget.
could go down to goaltending, like we were just talking about. If you watch that series against the Panthers too, they look a little soft, even though they were injured. Give them a little bit of credit. I think they
Yeah.
lost Svechnikov too. Um,
And Pacioretty.
And Pacioretty was injured too, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Canes did a great job in free agency. Stick taps for our boys. They did great out there.
They're going for it.
They're going for it. And now we have a very interesting one. Bedsy's team, baby. Chicago Blackhawks.
Chicago? Well, I mean, they can't. You can't really say they got worse because there's no there's no going down from where they were, right?
I
So,
think they got better.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I think
exactly where I was going with
yeah,
that.
I think better's great, man. They picked up Nick Foligno, Taylor Hall. They picked up Corey Perry. Get some real gritty rats on your team. Go for it. You got some players to play with Bedsy. If you can somehow manage to bring Showtime back, I think the Blackhawks would easily make a playoff spot if they wanted to.
Whoa. Okay. No. No. No.
I'm
No.
I'm
No. No.
going all in on the Hawks this year.
No.
I'm
No.
throwing it up with
Okay.
my Columbus Blue Jackets take. You heard it here first.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Columbus is different. This team
I'm
has
kidding.
Wyatt Kaiser on their third D pair. Who in Jared Tenorti on their second?
But you got
No.
Connor Bedard on your first.
Yeah, but remember, hockey's a team game. This ain't basketball. This ain't happening. This is
No,
not
no, no.
happening. I don't see Jared Tenorti as a second pair playoff defenseman. I'm sorry. No, that is way too
Okay,
far.
okay.
They got
Blackhawks
better.
got better.
Got better, but they're
And-
not cracking a playoff spot.
They got better, and they're gonna make the playoffs this year.
They're not making the playoffs.
Next team, the Colorado Avalanche.
Better.
So some pickups that I think they picked up. They lost Newhook to Montreal. They picked up Johansson, and they lost. Who was the guy they traded? Kochenyuk, I think is the guy they traded.
Yeah.
for
He went to Nashville.
Did Avalanche make any other significant moves? Because I don't think they did.
Colorado brought in the old duo from Halifax, Jonathan Drouin.
Uh,
I cannot wait to see how that pans out. Now, yes, Jonathan Drouin isn't that guy. He's
Yeah.
not that guy, but I'm excited to see where the chemistry is at between those two. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
they did pop off in juniors when they were youngsters, right? I like Ryan Johansson being brought in. I like bringing in Ross Colton for that Stanley Cup pedigree. Miles Wood too. That's a really decent contract for him. But yeah, they kept around most of the roster. The defense, as we know, is stacked. the goaltending is for me one of those things where I look at it where it's like, what's going on?
I trust in Georgiev a little bit.
I trust it, but it's not like,
With that
wow, that's
defense, though,
amazing.
man, you don't need good goaltending with that defense. Let's be
Yeah,
honest. That defense is top notch.
I say they got better, just better.
You think better?
I'd say better. Yes, you don't got Landeskog, but you brought in some good depth pieces, right? Miles Wood and Ross Colton. I really like Ross Colton for that. He can play good depth minutes, right? And then for me again, bringing in Drouin, I'd like to see that pan out well, especially for McKinnon, without Landeskog, of course.
I'm willing to leave them in better. I don't think it's a crazy thing to say that they got
It
better.
isn't.
I would probably lean more towards the same, but I'll leave them in better for this sake because I do like the pickup of Johansson, and I really do admire Sakic going out and not just saying, "Hey, we lost Landeskog. Let's just ride it out with the team we have." I like the idea of going to pick up Johansson to do something. I also like the idea of moving on from Newhook if you want to get some draft compensation because maybe you don't think there's going to be a spot for Newhook in the next couple years, rather than saying, "Hey, we're going to keep you on the third line the same way the Rangers are doing."
That was a good move.
Another shot. I'm just saying I think it's a good. I'm just saying I think it's a good move for Sakic. I like to see GMs who are active when their rosters get injured. Good for you, Colorado, and good for you, Sakic. I think it's a really good thing. Um, Next, we have Jimmy's underrated pick of the year, Columbus Blue Jackets.
Better.
Better.
I mean, I'd say better because you drafted Fantilli, but
Also, the D pickups too. Severson and
oh yeah,
Provorov are great additions.
Provorov and Severson. Yep, that you solidified the defense, but
Hmm.
you didn't really get worse. You got better.
Yeah, and
You,
I
you didn't
honestly
reach
love Kent Johnson too, and I think he's going to excel even more next year, which is scary because Ken Johnson looks amazing.
with his former Michigan teammate
Adam
Fantilli.
Fantilli. And now we have a bunch of. They picked up a couple guys from Michigan, didn't they? Do like they're gonna be the Michigan hockey team in like a year. Change it to the Michigan Blue Jackets at this point. That's what we gotta do.
Oh,
Move out the way,
native
Red Wings.
Ohioans would not like that at all.
Move out the way, Red Wings. Get out of here.
From the Ohio State, they would not like that.
Next up, we got the Dallas Stars. And I'll actually take this one because
Go ahead.
I don't want to say they're elite because I don't think they're elite, but that Matt Duchene pickup is really nice. I like that a lot for the Dallas Stars. Personally, I don't even know if they really got better. Duchene's a nice piece, but playing third line minutes, do you really think that Matt Duchene's going to do much else for the Stars than what they had last year?
I don't see much difference in the roster aside from Duchesne. Yes, he's a good pickup, but it's like, yeah, he's going to be playing third line minutes. My real issue with Dallas is the defense. For me, they can get it better. That does not look like a Stanley Cup winning defense to me.
But
Right?
Heiskanen is good.
Heiskanen's good, yes. Suter's good for the veteran presence. But I look at it and I'm like, they could totally make it better. You know what I mean?
Are you saying like maybe Matt Duchene didn't really fit the needs of what their roster was?
Well, obviously, their depth is okay. They added to that, right?
Yeah.
They're getting it better with Duchesne, but I think they could have looked at defense more because Ottinger was getting pummeled with shots constantly. They can't outscore their opponents every time, and their offense is electric.
Yeah.
They got some dogs. It's electric.
Yeah.
But I think they should have looked a little more defensively. I don't know who in particular, but you could have grabbed someone on the defensive end. That for me is where I would have looked if I were the Stars.
Yeah, and I think I can agree with that, man. I like the Duchene pickup. Do I really like it for the Stars? Nah, I would have liked to see Duchene go to. I know I mentioned it the last pod. Like a team like Boston who needs a center. I think he would have shined in a role with like Pasternak and Marchand, for instance. But yeah, I think Dallas deserves to be in the same spot. I think we all could probably feel that way. Dallas didn't improve super, but they also didn't lose anything, so they're good with me. Made it
I'd
to the
say
conference
same.
finals. Yeah, they're good. I'm chilling with the Stars. Next up, the Detroit Red Wings. I don't think they've made too many moves, have they?
So, what I see on Daily Faceoff, JT Compher, Daniel Sprong, Christian Fisher, Klim Kostin, Shane Gostisbehere, Justin Hall. And as for goaltending, they got James Reimer along to keep with Ville Husso. you wanna look at it in their situation. I mean, I look at the roster automatically. I'm like, oh yeah, you got better.
Yeah,
Because I mean, how are the Oilers going to let Costin go? He's a good depth piece. I like getting Christian Fischer for the fourth line. I love Daniel Sprong.
I do
That
too.
guy off the rush is insane. Anybody off the Seattle Kraken this year off the rush, they're insane. This roster looks better. I'll say that. I don't know
Okay.
about you.
I mean, to be fair, I I don't think there's. I think they're in a category between same and better. But I mean, since we don't really have a category there, I would definitely say they got better. I mean,
Yeah.
in better's, it feels a lot more like a strong term, but I think it's a good spot for the Red Wings. Honestly, I like those pickups, like you said. I kind of like the addition of Reimer too. Ville Huso can take a little bit off his plate. I don't like Reimer so much as a goalie, but as a backup goalie, I think he's better there than being the starting goalie for the Sharks and ditching out on Pride Night and stuff like that. So let
Oh
him
my
just
goodness.
stay in the backup role, right? Next, next up, we got the Florida Panthers. They lost Gudas. I don't think they made any pickups. I'm gonna say same.
Oh God, I'm looking at their roster. I mean, you got Rodriguez. That's okay. You brought. Oh my God, the defense has been completely revamped.
Yeah,
Aside from Forsling, Josh Mahura, you kept as well.
they lost to
Um,
Stahl, didn't they?
why don't I see Brandon Martor in this? They kept him around, obviously.
They better have kept
Um,
Montour. He was huge for
it,
them.
it's probably because he's injured. That's
Yeah.
why it's not showing. Um, I don't know. I don't feel like it doesn't. I'd say the same. It's
Same.
not really. It's not really much different. I almost want to say a little worse, but then you
Oh,
can't keep everyone after a thing. But no, listen. I see like Steven Lorentz as your fourth line center. I'm like, what? What is that? But then I go to injuries. Ekblad's out. Hornquist is retired. Montour,
not a
Kachuk.
loss.
I'd say the same. They didn't. They
Yeah.
didn't really.
The only guy they lost that we kind of already talked about was Gudis. And I don't think that he would. I really don't think he's that great. Not bad. He's a good second, third line guy. Nothing
He's
crazy.
a good
though.
second pairing defenseman.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Now we're going to move to the Edmonton Oilers, and this is sort of similar to the Bruins. Let's talk about what they didn't do as well. So, what are your takes on the Edmonton Oilers free agency this offseason?
The free agency. I mean, the team looks. I don't know. It's just I don't see improvement. I mean, you still got the two best players in the world. Your top six is still pretty elite. I know you said last time around that that they should be getting rid of Nugent Hopkins to get somebody else. They didn't do that. They didn't do that.
They
And the
lost
roster,
Yamamoto though.
the roster is it looks a little worse. You don't got Costin. You don't got Yamamoto. I feel like there was somebody else who got. Oh, it was Yamamoto that got bought
Yeah,
out, right?
but I'll also say Oilers fans hate Yamamoto. Hate.
Why?
I don't know. If you look up some cap friendly stuff, man, every single Oilers trade, Yamamoto is thrown in just like a bag of chips. I don't know what the hate is for Yamamoto, but after that release happened, I saw that they were like, great, go. And also, I think the Red Wings got Yamamoto, didn't they?
Yeah, and then they
Did we?
bought him out. I think.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Yamamoto went to the Red Wings from the Oilers. I think the Oilers got a tiny bit worse, and I want to say that this is just for now. Again, on July 7th, I do think that they're going to go and fix another area like their defense after getting rid of some of those contracts. I do.
Put in worse.
Yeah, so I'm going to put worse right
Put
now,
in
but
worse.
again, like I said, I think that they can fix this if they want to, but right now, yeah. Next up, New York Islanders, and what do you think about the Islanders? Don't tell Mbot Hockey that.
Why are you handing out 7-year contracts to like bottom line players?
And backup
What?
goalies.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, you got
Sorokin.
wow, he was in the Vesna.
Sorokin.
Sorokin, yeah, you got Sorokin back. He God bless him, he's amazing. What this roster didn't get better or worse. It's just
Didn't they?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't really see improvement. They have the same team.
And they
He's
lost
paying.
pieces too. Isn't Josh Bailey on the Blackhawks now? Didn't he go
Oh
there?
yeah, they might have gotten rid of him, but I
Yeah,
still say it's the
but
same.
to me, if anything, they got worse. I'm
I
gonna
think
put them in worse. I don't know what this Islanders GM issue is with signing big contracts like this. Even with Sorokin, man, I like Sorokin. 5 years is fine for a goalie.
he
Why
gave
do
him
you
eight,
need
didn't he?
8 years?
Yeah.
Crazy, dude. Crazy to me. I don't get it, but we're gonna put them in worse because I hate those signings, man. Those long-term deals
Those, yeah, those
with
are.
these old players. The Islanders have the most boring hockey team, I swear, and they keep doing it, man. Fix your team, please. Oh, dude, they have
Change the
like the
direction.
sickest jerseys too. Fix your team so I want to watch it. Oh, can't stand it.
Choose the direction
Dude, when
because
the
it's.
Islanders, dude, when the Islanders come to Boston, I want to just like immediately shut off my TV. I hate it. I hate it.
Oh
Is
my
that too
god.
harsh?
Well, I mean, I mean, I don't think anybody would disagree. Everybody knows and jokes that the Islanders have the most boring hockey team in the National Hockey League.
Oh well, right. Next we got, oh, this is going to be a good topic. The Los Angeles Kings free agency rating. Where are you putting them?
Well, to put it this way, they got a good second pair center in Pierre-Luc Dubois, right? I look at the depth and I'm like, it's okay, it's good, it's decently good. They brought in that, they still got Kempe, Fiala. I'd say I'd say better, honestly. You didn't, you know, Tobias Bjornfot. Who was that? I'd say better. I'm
All right.
putting I'm putting the Los Angeles Kings in better because you got Pierre-Luc Dubois. That slides Philip Deneau down to the third line. That's a pretty good three centers to keep Kopitar, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and Philip Deneau. I feel like they're saying a little like we're going for it now, but they traded away a little too much, like for Pierre-Luc Dubois. But we talked about that last time. I'd
Yeah.
say better. The roster does look better having Pierre-Luc Dubois on that team.
And just to add to this, the LA Kings also yesterday signed Anze Kopitar to a 2-year deal, $7 million AAV. So I think that's a good contract to get Kopitar back on too. I think that's a nice keeping your captain around. I'm very surprised in your answer. I really thought you were going to put them at same or worse because we both really disagreed with the trade. But for right now, they did get better. So I'm glad you put them in better because that's where I want to put them. But in the future,
May not work out.
when iFollow starts playing like a beast, we'll come back to this. Just
Oh
saying.
boy.
Next up is a team that I want so badly, Marcus, to be good, and I root for them every year, and I call them the new Toronto Maple Leafs, the Minnesota Wild.
Oh, I agree on that. That they're the new Minnesota Wild. I don't know. I'm rooting for them so hard to be like good, but they're good enough to make the playoffs, but not good enough to win it all.
Yeah,
They're the same. There's
yeah.
no
I don't think
difference.
they made any moves of
Same.
significance,
The same team.
and they're,
There's
they're such a fun team to watch too. Kirill Kaprizov, Eriksson Ek. I know they have Flurry. They also have Gustafsson, who's playing amazing for your team now, so you can move out of Flurry. And I just don't know why they can't win. For my entire life, I see the Wild enter the playoffs, and whether it's the St. Louis Blues, the Chicago Blackhawks, or the Colorado Avalanche, they are bouncing in the first round just like the Toronto Maple Leafs. I talked about this. The Wild have not won a playoff series or more than like one playoff series in the past 10 years. They're constantly in the talk, in the mix of things. We always overrate them. This past season, they were bouncing around as the first overall in their entire conference. And they go up against a team that is good. I think the Stars could have lost to them. I think that it could have been one way or the other. And honestly, I'm giving the edge to Minnesota because they have some veterans like Fleury on that team. But the Wild now have Kaprizov being a no-show the same way Panarin is for the Rangers, and something's got to change with that organization. You have too many passionate fans to be bounced out of the first round every year. It's tough. I think
it's
they're the same. Yeah.
it's the same.
Yeah, it's tough. We hate to see it. We're actually kind of Wild fans here. We're like not fans of them, but we're rooting for them as like a side team. They always strike me as the underdog team. I want that
I
to win.
wouldn't call myself a fan of any Minnesota hockey team,
No, me
but
either.
I feel bad.
Yeah,
I feel terrible for them.
yeah. I think they have closest to the passionate fan base in the NHL. All they know is hockey, and I think it stinks that their team just for some reason they're good, but they're just not good enough. And they're like the mid Minnesota Wilds. That's what we should
Mid
start
is
calling them.
soda wild. I love.
Uh,
Whoa! No one's ever said that. That
no,
is
I don't
like
know.
a key. Oh my god! You just made a meme. Nobody's ever
Yeah,
called them the
put it on a
mid
t-shirt,
soda.
man. Put it on a t-shirt.
No one's ever called them the mid soda wild.
I feel like a million people have had to call them the Minnesota.
Well, I mean, like you're probably the first to say it on social media, dude.
Yeah.
That's like coin it. TM.
Hey, I'm that guy. What can I say?
Trademark.
Trademark it.
First top shelf T-shirt. The Minnesota Wild.
The Minnesota Wild. Just a face of
Probably
like
gonna
Kirill
lawsuit.
Kaprizov on the ice or something.
We'd get a lawsuit from the Wild
Immediately. The Wild would be out for us like, you two clowns, get out of here. Next up, we have our least favorite hockey team, Marcus, the Montreal Canadiens. What do you think?
I put them at. So we're only talking free agency here, right? Because sometimes some of these have been factoring in like their drafts too.
You can do the draft for them too because they deserve to be
Because-
mocked for their draft.
Well, they did actually sign one of their draft picks, David Reinbacher. I'd say you got Newhook. I mean, well, the team looks like relatively the same, but you brought in Newhook, and you signed Reinbacher. I'd say you could. I'm between same and better, but I put them in slightly better. You know, like same. I mean, the roster doesn't look any different.
I think we should put them in same man because we don't know how Newhook's going to play for them, and we also don't know what their goaltending situation is with Carey Price. I think that that's a big hole on the Canadians roster, and whether the fans want to admit it or not, Carey Price is taking up a lot of money on your team, and your starting goalie is either Marchand or
Montembeau.
Montembolt. Oh my God, Montembolt or Jake Allen, and you have really good players on there. I think you should be rolling out for a better goalie, a young goalie right now, and I like the Reinbacker edition. I like the Newhook edition, but I'm going to put them at same because we don't know how Reinbacker is going to be, and we also don't know what Newhook is going to do on the Montreal Canadiens. So he's going to be their third line center at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So same.
Or third line winger, because you still have Jake Evans.
Yeah, or winger. I mean, either way, he's not playing significant minutes. Not a huge pickup, but I like it. So we'll keep it at same. Nashville Predators in their free
Okay.
agency pickups.
What are they doing?
What are you doing?
What are they doing?
Nashville, what are you doing?
Okay, I think when Barry Trotz said, "Get," I'll worry about or draft us, high upside players. I'll deal with the signings. I didn't think they were gonna actually. He meant like now. I thought he meant like 5 years down the road. I'll sign us some players to help out our draft picks. Why are we signing Ryan O'Reilly, Gustav Nyquist? Like what is that? What is going on here?
What's going on, Nashville? We just want
I
to know.
didn't think he meant now. I thought he meant like 5 years down the road. And the guy who's leaving, I forget his name. Oh my god, I forget his name. The guy who's leaving.
I have no
The
idea.
GM.
No
I forget,
idea.
but he's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he's probably like, all my hard work. All my hard work. I think this is easily a garbage thing, and I'm going to explain why. Nashville, there are two directions you're going to take your franchise in. Let me explain it. You either rebuild or you commit. This is you. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're-
They are in the most middle position they could have been in after the free
Hey,
agency.
should we
signings.
coin mark another? The Midville Predators? Is this where we're going now?
Midfield Predators. That's where we're going at.
Garbage.
Garbage. I
Why are
put it
you
in
signing Ryan O'Reilly and losing Johansson and Matthew Shane? Why? No sense.
Exactly.
No sense.
What?
No sense. Gustav Nyquist? Huh? Huh?
What purpose does he serve?
This guy hasn't been good since he was playing with Pavel Datsuk in the Winter Classic. Huh? What?
Oh my gosh. No,
What?
that's true though. That's true. I can't remember the last time I was like, oh yeah, Gustav Nyquist, he's
Oh,
him.
he threads the needle. We
He
got it.
threat.
Oh. Dude, Gustav? Are you kidding? Columbus Blue Jackets legend Gustav
Oh
Nyquist?
my gosh.
God,
I
man,
can't
what
remember
is
the
their
last time like I was.
direction? Dude, that whole roster, and if you're gonna rebuild your team like this or have no direction, free juice UC Soros. Free
Free him.
UC Soros.
Free
Get
him.
him out of there. Free the
He
juice
doesn't
man.
deserve that. Free Yossi. He doesn't deserve it.
Yossi. Yossi. Yeah, Yossi's got to go too. Both. Free the Jays.
Bro, Yossi's like standing up there at the draft, and he like probably already knows the plans. He's like, "Oh, please kill me."
He's like, God.
He's like, we'll take Matthew Wood. Oh, why are we?
He's like, why are we taking Matthew Wood? Oh,
Wait,
and we
why are
bought
we
out
signing
Matt
O'Reilly?
Duchene. Dude, we bought out Matt Duchene, and now we're signing Ryan O'Reilly. Ding, 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 ding.
I have no idea where that was going.
Put him in the trash. Put him in the trash. Next team, New Jersey Devils.
Better.
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 Are we Devils fans now, Mark?
Stronger.
Are
I'm
we
smarter.
Devils fans? Is this what's going on now? I'm feeling the Devils. I'm feeling it.
You're
Devils.
feeling
The Devils.
you're feeling the power.
I'm feeling the Devils' power.
They're on a
Absolutely
highway
great.
to hell.
Nice.
They're on a highway to hell with
Nice.
the way they've handled this free agency.
Nice.
Tyler Toffoli, well, even the trades too. You bring in Tyler Toffoli. I like Igor Shankovich, but he didn't play in the playoffs. I like bringing in, you know what I'm saying? You kept Timo Meyer. You re-signed Bratt, all right? You know what I'm saying? Defense, relatively stays the same, but you're possibly bringing up Luke Hughes or Simone Nemec. You know what I'm saying? Bringing
Yep.
the young guys. You never know. I don't
And you
want to see
still
Kevin.
have room for a goalie.
Yes,
You
they
still
do. There's
have room
potential.
for a goalie.
Put him in elite.
Put him in elite.
Put
I
him in
love it.
elite.
Dude, I'm
Now.
so high. I'm so high on the Devils. Somebody clip this and bring it back to me next year. New Jersey,
Don't smoke,
2024
kids.
champions.
Don't smoke. That's
Don't
the devil talking.
Oh, hey, now we get to talk about the Rangers some more. New York Rangers free agency. How are we feeling? They picked up Blake Wheeler, Jonathan Quick. What are we thinking?
Same.
Same? Yeah, I agree.
Same. Well, you get more. I feel like they're going in the direction where it's like they're going older. I see Nick Bonino. I don't know how old Tyler Pickett.
Nick Bonino?
You're bringing Wheeler too, right? That's a more veteran type signing, right? I think that might work out. Eric Gustafson on the defensive end too, right? They bolster up the defense a bit. You bring in Jonathan Quick onto like the goaltending to maybe
Love
help
that.
out Shesterkin a bit, handle the limelight. I could say better because it's like, oh, you're recognizing you're in a Stanley Cup window. But what are you doing with now Patrick Kane? What are you doing with the kid line? Where's
Yeah.
that going?
Yeah. A lot of
You gonna
unanswered
you're gonna
questions.
trade them for some more pieces?
Yeah, so I agree. There's a lot of unanswered questions there. I do like the Wheeler pickup, a little bit of leadership to help guide some of the older guys on there. I'm not sure who the captain is on their team. I think it's Jacob Truba. So you can help Truba get into that captaincy with Wheeler. I think Wheeler's going to be playing with a lot of grit this year after being on a Winnipeg Jets team that was pretty subpar for most of his career. And then you also pick up Jonathan Quick, great for Igor Shesterkin. I agree with you completely. Nick Bonino is just a great guy, whatever. Throw him on your fourth line. I still don't know what's going on with Patrick Kane, though. I still don't know what's going on with the young line. So I do think they're pretty much the same, just a bunch of like nice pieces on cheap deals. So
Yeah, it's the same. But I think if they commit to it and they're like, let's just get rid of the young guys and bring in some, go sort of the Vegas route, if you will. Just get
Yeah.
rid of all our young guys and say, go for it, stack it up. I could see them like, really being a contender, like
yeah, one way or the other.
mopping,
Yeah.
mopping.
Yeah. I'm
sure.
very high on the Rangers as much as I like joke about it. I really do think they have a good team. They just need some more direction. Hopefully their new coach will help them with that too. Next up, the Ottawa Senators. The Sens, I don't think they made too many signings yet. They also have the Alex DeBrincat thing kind of roaming over their heads. What do you think about that?
I mean, you got Corpusala, but I don't really see that as like better. It's just the same. There's,
Yeah, I'd
there's
say
nothing.
same.
There's nothing to really talk about. Future sky's the limit for them, but
Yeah.
there was nothing.
Yeah, I think we can rapid fire through the Senators. I don't really have much to say. I like the Corpusalo thing. It's better than Cam Talbot. You went a little bit younger. At least you have a guy that you can develop, but same. Next up, the Philadelphia Flyers. Give me some Tortsy love here. What is Tortorella going to do with this team? Who's he going to hate on? Who we got?
I mean, you got Ryan Foling and then Garnet Hathaway. The same.
But we're talking about draft here. They did get a steal in the draft. They got Matvey Michkov. A steal.
Yeah.
Steal.
Yeah, but is he signed or no?
No. So the reason we're not going to put them any higher than same, Philly, we do recognize they got a really good pick in the draft. I just want to mention that because
He
we
didn't
talked about
sign.
Ryan Becker. But I don't know where that's going to go.
He didn't sign, so it doesn't
Yeah.
really.
So he didn't sign with you guys yet. He's still in the KHL. If you can get him, great. If you can't, tough luck.
Same.
Pound sand, Philly. What can I tell you? Next up, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, this was a very active team in this free agency. The big signing they did was for Tristan Jarry and Riley Smith. They did make a couple other moves, but where do you want to put the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Better.
Better. Nice.
They got better. You have had a problem with your bottom six for years now. It's all anyone's complained about with them, right? You got Lars Eller, you got Nola Chari, who we would both be high on, Matthew Nieto, and they brought in Mikhail Granlund from Nashville from the last trade deadline. They kept him around too. This team and Riley Smith, as you mentioned. This team looks a lot better.
Yeah. The only thing I would say that I wish the Penguins did differently, I wish they moved on from Tristan Jarry and got a different goalie. Yeah, I think Jarry, not because I think Jarry's a bad goalie. I just think he's always injured, man. And I think the Penguins, they're a veteran style team. I think you could have moved on from Jarry and gotten yourself a little bit of a better guy, maybe a Gibson-esque guy who would be able to help out.
You really
but-
want to see him moved.
I want to see him move from Anaheim because he's in his prime. He's got to play, but I also want to see him get a shot. I hate seeing guys that I like never get a shot at a playoff series. And I just think the Penguins, I'm not hating on the Jarry thing because I don't think Jarry's a bad goalie. If he can be healthy, I think he's good for the Penguins. But stay healthy,
Right.
Jarry, and we'll see. But all in all, better, right?
They got better. Yeah.
San Jose Sharks, I think we can put them as the same too. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say. I don't think they made any moves. They got the Eric Carlson hanging over. Just trade him already. We know you're going to trade him. Trade him. Trade him. You also lost James Reimer, so I almost want to put them in elite just for trading him. Imagine.
I'd say the same. There's nothing different.
All right. Seattle Kraken. I know that the Bruins picked up one of their players. What's his name? Geeky? But I don't know what other moves they
I'm
made.
geeky.
Geeky?
I'm geeky.
I'm geeky for geeky.
I'm geeky for Morgan. But Seattle, I want to say worse, but looking at the roster, they've kept around most of the team. Most of the team is still there. You lost Susie, which was a little, for me, it's like, dang. But
Tough.
I'd say they're around the same. Oh, they picked up Kyler Yamamoto. Yeah.
There it is.
Put him in same. Put him
Put him
in
in
same. There's not much of a difference.
Imagine putting them higher because they picked up a Yamamoto. Like, that would be crazy. I almost want to bring them down to worse because I feel like they should have moved on from Grubauer. They still could. Grubauer has had some tough times in Seattle, and he did okay in the playoffs for you, but I like Martin Jones better than Grubauer, and I think you could have upgraded at that position. And I think the Kraken have some cap space to work with, so I don't know why we're not getting ourselves a guy like Tarasenko or somebody
figuring
like
it out.
that. Yeah, I know they will. The Seattle Kraken, I've seen a lot of people, after they made their playoff run, I kind of really started to like the Kraken, but same.
You say get a guy like Tarasenko if you're Seattle, but remember, this is only the second season in the franchise, and they already made the playoffs, right? They're now in the third.
Yeah,
They're working on the core,
Yeah.
right? You still got to bring Shane Wright through. So for me, they got to just
Keep it
let
going.
it play out.
Yeah, I like
Can't
Matty
you-
Beniers too. I think he's great
If
for them.
you're a team like the Seattle Kraken that has a bunch of, underrated guys, a bunch of misfit type of players. You know what I'm saying? And it's working. It's not like they're at the bottom of the barrel. They made the playoffs, which I don't think any of us saw.
No.
So for me, when I look at it, I say, keep it as it is. Just let it flow.
Yeah, I
Go
like
with
that.
the river,
Yeah,
out into the ocean, the deep
cool.
ocean.
I actually vibe with that a lot. I think that they should try to run it back, and if you can make some additions at the trade deadline, maybe mid-season, that could help you out. Go for it. Or if there's like something that comes up, maybe. But right now, I'm cool with Seattle. I think they're same, pretty good. Next up, the St. Louis Blues. How are you feeling about the St. Louis Blues coming for next season?
I mean, what?
Same.
Kevin Hayes.
Oh
Yeah,
wait, elite. Put them in elite.
Kevin Hayes.
Put them in elite. Honestly, I want to put the
Roster.
Blues in elite just for the TikTok that they made. Did you see the TikTok that they made reenacting Home Alone?
I didn't see the
Hilarious.
TikTok.
St. Louis Blues admin, please send me a DM. You're an absolute genius.
Wait, they made a TikTok like Home Alone for
Do you
Kevin
remember
Hayes.
like in the scene in Home Alone where like they're passing the bag and they're like, "This is for Kevin, this is for Kevin, this is for Kevin."
Oh
Dude,
yeah, they
they
did with Kevin
recreated
Hayes.
that. Absolutely amazing, amazing.
Wow.
So St. Louis Blues, you're the same, but your admin is elite. So we love
Yeah, they
that.
stayed the same, but the roster with Kevin Hayes does actually look better to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think it looks. I want to say it's better because of some of the underrated moves they got from the past year, but this is just free agency, right?
yeah.
So,
I mean, we
the
can
way
be
I look
fair to
at it,
them, man. Honestly, we should put them in better just for the fleecing that they did on the Flyers. They
I'll give
fleeced
it
the
that.
Flyers, and I
I'll
think that
give it
they
that.
deserve a little bit more credit for that Kevin Hayes trade than they actually got. So better for the Blues. We're
Give it
moving.
better. We're
We're
giving it
moving.
better.
Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Lightning. They lost Killorn. They lost Pat Maroon. And did they pick up anybody else that's worth noting to put them insane?
Dude, they got a legendary guy in Connor Sheary. No, it's worse.
Worse.
This is bad. This is worse.
Yeah.
Josh Archibald. Wow,
Dude,
no.
that guy threads the needle, man.
It's
Absolute
it's
Lightning legend.
it's bad.
Yeah.
It's worse. It's not garbage,
Yeah.
but their bottom six is going to have a difficult time.
Yes. This is what happens when you pay all your elite players a bunch of money. Look for next season when the Lightning can't afford to sign Steven Stamkos because they're going to have no cap space. Because unless they're willing to just throw this year away, you kind of saw them in the playoffs against the Leafs. They're not super deep anymore, guys. They're moving down to worse. Which moves us to our next team, who I think was the most active in free agency. The Toronto Maple Leafs made a bunch of insane moves this free agency. What do you think about it?
Elite.
Elite.
They were elite. They got Max Domi, Tyler Bertuzzi, which makes them arguably the best top six in the National Hockey League. They got Max Domi and Tyler Bertuzzi, which arguably makes them the best top six in the National Hockey League. You brought in Ryan Reeves, who people could say he's an overpay, but they've had an issue with grit for God knows how long. They've been really soft, super soft. Get you a guy like Revo. They're not. Nobody's touching Matthews. Nobody's touching.
Don't
Reimer.
touch Poppy. Don't touch
Nobody's
Poppy.
touching Matthew Nyes. These guys, they don't have to stick up for themselves because they have Revo ready
Yeah.
to go. Klingberg on the defensive end, I love that. I love it. Right? But you know what I'm saying? Other than that, elite.
Elite.
It's elite.
Elite. And I think it's perfectly put. You signed Bertuzzi to a 1-year, $5.5 million contract and
That's
Max
him out.
Domi to a 3-year contract. You lose Shen and Hull, who are guys that you probably didn't want to keep on your team anyways.
It's
So
not a loss. That's more
not a loss. That's a addition by subtraction in my eyes for the Leafs.
It's a
Addition
donation.
by subtraction, and I also think that they're looking to. They are currently $8 million over the cap. The Leafs still need to address their Nylander contract and their Austin Matthews contract, which are two big things for the team. But right now, their top six, hands down, the best in the NHL. And if you can name a better one, put it in the comments for us. But I can't think of a better top 6 outside of maybe Dallas, and that's it.
I'm booking it. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
You guys have the best top 6 in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
I can't argue with a wall because I'm not listening to anybody
I'm
else.
not either. Yeah.
It's wow. For this year, it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, literally kick rocks and pound sands if you have anything else to say to us because we don't care. Next up, the Vancouver Canucks, a team that I actually wish was more active, man. Another team. What is your direction? Where are you going with your team? What are we doing? Help me out here, Marcus.
They just suck.
No.
They just suck. No, I'm not saying the free agency was bad, but they just suck.
No, I don't. I think the free agency sucked. I don't think the team's bad.
Well, when you look at the personnel, you're like, wow, this team should be contending for a playoff
Thank you.
spot. But they just suck.
Now, you want to know why I'm going to put them in worse? Because why did they buy out that Oliver Ekman-Larsson contract?
I don't know.
Like,
I'm
it didn't
not in
do
the room.
nothing. What?
I don't know. You got Carson Soucy, but it's like this team is just, it sucks.
Do me a favor, Canucks fans. Just before you go to bed every night, just wish that one day Connor Bedard wants to leave Chicago so badly and play for his hometown. That's what you should be praying for every night. Because I would have loved to have seen, man, a Connor Bedard and Elias Pettersson line. Oh my God.
You
The
can only dream
Stees
it.
on that line, man, would be crazy.
You can only dream it because guess what? They suck. I can't stress it enough. Yeah, we beat them in the Cup final as a Bruins fan, so what? But I look at it and it's just like, I want to see them do well.
Yeah.
They suck.
Yeah. That's a strong opinion on the Canucks, but I'll give them back a little bit.
It's plain and simple. They're not good, dude. They're not.
They have potential, though. Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson, Thatcher Demko, they're all really good, so I'm not...
They can't make it work. They can't make it work. I don't know what it is. I'm not there all the time. They can't make it work. I can't. I don't want to discuss this any further. It's
All
done.
right. Next up, we got, they suck apparently. Next up, we got the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Now they lost Riley Smith. I'm not sure if they made any other additions. Jonathan Quick was out, obviously. I don't know if they did any other real subtractions. I'm guessing they did.
Well, the way I saw it, their goaltending is like a blessing in disguise. They have way too many like decent goaltenders to have. Logan Thompson, Aiden Hill for 2.
Robin Leonard's still on their team, isn't he?
Robin Leonard's still on the team too. They're giving.
But he should be bought out. Get him out of there.
I'd say the team is just the same.
I do think that Riley Smith subtraction is makes them a little worse. I mean, if we're not talking about their status in the league, obviously they were the best team last year for a reason. But moving into next season, Riley Smith was one of your original players, one of the 6 misfits, if you will, Vegas fans. And you traded Riley Smith. And coming from Bruins fans who once had the luxury of watching Riley Smith play, he was really good, man. He was great on any team he played on. A solid piece. So I don't know if it'll necessarily affect the team, but I do think it's worth noting that they did lose out on him.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where you look at it, it's like, if you look at the roster altogether, the only loss truly was Riley Smith. The roster's still the same. They're still all used to each other.
Yeah, and I agree. I think Riley Smith is a loss, but it was more just mentioning Jonathan Quick isn't a loss for you. He played like 4 games. You're good. Next up, we got the Washington Capitals. I actually want to go ahead and rate this. Why are people so high on Max Pacioretty, man? Why? Dude doesn't play any games. He's older just like all your other old men. I'm putting them in worse.
Washington is a straight retirement home.
Dude, they might as well call them the Washington Ovechkins at this point. We're just watching him break the record. They have nothing else going for them. You have TJ Oshie, who's old. You have Alex Ovechkin, who's old. Nicholas Backstrom, who's old. And Backstrom can't be healthy. Your goaltending situation, you got Darcy Kemper, who I don't know
why is he there?
Him.
Why is he there?
Yeah, I don't get it. He won the Stanley Cup, but let me just remind you that Darcy Kemper was playing behind one of the best defensive pairings in the league. Like
the best defensive core in the league.
Best defensive core. Let me correct that. The best defensive pairing, not one of the best.
So stacked.
Yeah, no. I'm going to say they got worse. I don't like the Max Pacioretty signing. I don't think that's good for them. I think that that's a subtraction by addition, if you will. That one's bad. I don't like it. And people can say that it's not bad. I don't like it. Injury prone. He's old. Maybe he fits your roster now, but does nothing for you in the future. Nah. Nah. Next up, Winnipeg Jets.
Is this the last one?
No, we have three more. For some reason, the two teams that were in alphabetical order were put behind, so we're gonna go back a little bit. Next up is the Winnipeg Jets. I actually think the Jets should be better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade saved you a ton of
Yeah.
cash,
Yeah.
and you got Gabriel Velarde and Alex Iafallo, who are perfect for your depth, right? Yeah, they can slide perfectly into the roster. You know what I'm saying? That the roster looks better to me, so to speak. I mean, yes, you lost a big piece in PLD. I like the roster. I like it. I'd say better.
Yeah, the
You
Winnipeg
added
Jets
two.
free agency was a plus for them. I think that losing Blake Wheeler, I think he became a little bit less of a leader this past year. And I think losing Pierre-Luc Dubois, who guy who did great for the organization, but he wanted to move on clearly. And I think you got an A-plus package back from that. And I think in the future, the Jets are going to be really grateful that they moved on from Pierre-Luc Dubois. I do.
We'll see. We also got to look out for maybe what happens with Hellebuck. They
Yeah.
probably won't do anything with it, but you never know. But from the looks of it right now, I'd say like this roster did get better.
Yeah, right now, again, this is July 7th. We're just talking about what the Jets roster is now. As of now, Hellebuck, Scheifele, and Connor are all still on their roster. They lost Wheeler and Pierre-Luc Dubois, but they gained a great package from LA. I personally think they're better, and so does Marcus. So if you guys have any debates about that, let us know. It could go either way, I think, with the Jets. But now we're going to throw it back because didn't have my list in alphabetical order. And we're going to talk about the Buffalo Sabres. I don't think the Sabres made any big additions this offseason, do you?
Nah.
No?
And it's a good thing they're not doing
Good
that,
thing.
right?
Good.
It's a good thing because
Good.
they're kind of in the same boat as some of these other teams. They are looking to solidify a core, if you will. And they almost made the playoffs with this core they got, right? So you don't need to splash just yet. You don't need to make a big jump like off the diving board and do a cannonball. Just jump in. They're fine. The way
Stay
they
in the
look.
shallow end, man. Just splash
Stay in
around
the
a little
shallow
bit.
end.
You're good.
Be safe,
Yeah.
okay? Because you're still very young, right? You brought in Connor Clifton and Eric Johnson, right? That buffs the decor a little bit. But you are still extremely young.
Yeah.
Extremely young. Let the core develop. I love the direction they're going in. It's almost perfect.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, Buffalo. You're doing a great
Almost
job.
perfect.
We love it. Good job. And we have one final team, Marcus. Are you ready? The Calgary Flames. What do you think about their offseason? Nothing. Nothing. Why?
I'd say better because you lost Milan Lucic, but I'm glad he's with us.
Don't sit. No.
I'm glad Milan Lucic is with the Bruins because I love him. He was my childhood idol growing up, but this team did not. Who's Connor Zary? Who's that? He's your current projected fourth line center. Who is that?
So here's my little Flames thing. I loved Flames hockey when they had Gaudreau and Kachuk, and now I think they are almost tied with the Islanders for being one of the more boring teams in the league. You're probably going to lose Noah Hannafin next year, and he's probably coming to Boston because Don Sweeney loves Noah Hannafin. But outside of that, I don't think you've done anything. I think your team got... I want to make fun of you just for the Kachuk trade just because you did that so badly, even though you didn't really have a choice. I think they're the same. They didn't do anything bad. They didn't do anything good. We can't rag on them for their free agent. They didn't do anything. So, but
It's just the same.
it's the same.
It's bad.
All right. So here's our list from the bottom up. Let me know if there's somebody you want to
Read it
change.
out.
You ready? So
Yep.
garbage. We have the Bruins and the Predators. Do you think that that's a fair spot for them to be?
That's it?
That's it.
Oh wow. Let's go through it. See if we want to change anything.
Next up, we have in the worst category. We think the Oilers did worse, the Islanders, the Lightning, the Canucks, and the Capitals.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you think that either the Bruins or the Predators should move up, or one of those teams should move down?
I'd be biased if I said we should move it up, but I mean, I don't think it was completely like a ball drop with the situation they have.
Okay,
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
willing to move them up and move the Islanders down.
Okay. I mean, well, you can't really say the Islanders. Let's go back to it. You can't really say I'd keep the Islanders where they are. They didn't really, they didn't get better, but you know what I'm saying. But they didn't really do anything to get like worse.
Sure.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
then in the same category, we have the Coyotes, the Stars, the Flyers, the Panthers, the Wild, the Canadiens, the Senators, the Rangers, the Sharks, the Kraken, the Knights, the Sabres, and the Flames. Now, there's two here that stand out to me that I think need to be moved up. I think that the Stars and the Canadiens need to go up.
Okay,
And
I
do you
give it
want,
to you. I
you
give
know,
it to you.
all right.
I'm not gonna argue with it because getting Duchesne, yes, that improves you.
Yeah, and I still
All
think
right,
that I think the Canadians did a good job with the new hook thing. I do. I think it's a good
and we
plus.
got Ryan Backer on that deal
Yeah.
too.
And now I do have one person in this list that I think I want to move down. We have the Ducks, the Blackhawks, the Avs, the Blue Jackets, the Red Wings, the Kings, the Penguins, the Blues, the Jets, the Stars, and the Canadians. I think that the Ducks should be moved down because I don't think that those D-pairing pickups are necessarily going to better a team that was at the bottom of the league. And I don't think that the contracts are going to be good for a team that's really rebuilding right now. You have a really young roster. I don't think they're gonna be good contracts in like 2 3 years.
Okay, I mean, yeah, you got a good point. That was a really good
Yeah,
explanation.
I don't know.
I'll give it to you.
When I'm looking at these lists, there's some people who stand out to me. The Ducks stood out to me there. I don't. When I look at some of the other pickups that these other teams made, they just didn't. But now in our last category, these are our three elite. We have the Canes, the Devils, and the Maple Leafs. The Devils.
Yeah, keep it there.
Yeah, I like those three teams. I think if you had to ask us what our top three favorite teams to win the championship would be next year, I guarantee you those would be our top three. Like
Yeah,
they made some great pickups, man. Absolutely amazing.
I think yeah. I mean, I think that list looks. I mean, it probably looks perfect.
It is perfect.
Turn into an Insta post.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
All
I
right.
got that. That's me. But
Yeah, you got that. I'll
looks
let you.
looks
I'll
good.
kick back and let you take care of that one. But that's our list for the free agency grades. Keep in mind, like we said, guys, this is just till July 12th. Sorry, July 7th. Once this is over and more things happen, you can obviously see that afterwards, and we'll talk about it later. But let us know what your thoughts are on our list here. Which ones you agree with, you disagree with, and maybe if we talked about one of your teams and you think you have a different take about it, let us know in the comments. But that's our list, and we're going to sign off here. So thank you guys for listening to episode number 2 of the Top Shelf Podcast. We will see you guys on the next one.
There you go.
There you go.